Don't hurt! Call the police!
I regret nothing.
Welcome to the Running with Scissors I Regret Nothing podcast with Mike J., John Merchant, and Kurt Willoughby.
Hello, 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 hello. Can everybody hear me?
Hello.
Hey.
I can hear you.
Well, here we are with our, let me see, this is the fourth I Regret Nothing podcast. We are only three today. It's our friend John Merchant from the UK. Say hi, John.
Hey.
And our little sound boy from the UK also, Kurt Willoughby.
Hello. Willoughby.
And I'm your host, Mike J. Well, there's only one topic in the world right now, and we're not really going to talk about it. So, with that, I will cheers with my bottle of Xanax that the election is finally fucking over. Whoever won, doesn't matter. It's over. It's over. I'm sure you guys felt this way recently as well. For good or for bad, you were just glad the discussions were over.
Yeah, I was getting kind of sick of it, to be honest.
Right, and, you know, even though the discussions are over and the cliff jumping starts, I almost find solace in the cliff jumping than the infighting that happened before. So, with that said, cheers, motherfuckers. It's over.
Cheers.
Yeah. If you guys paid attention to our channel recently, our boy Kurt did a 24-hour game stream for the kids. He did it for the charity. What charity was it again for, Kurt?
Extra Life.
The Extra Life charity. And how was it? This is not your first. This is like your fourth, third?
Yeah, fourth.
Fourth.
I did it for 3 years, just me. But yeah, this is the first time doing it for RWS. It was really fun. It was probably the most fun I've had doing one. They seem like, as I've done them, they seem to get better with each one that comes, but this one was a lot of fun, and a lot of that was partly to do with the people coming and hanging out in the chat and all the rest of it, but it was also to do with the guys from the team coming and helping me stick through, especially through the night. When playing things like Borderlands with Rick and Gordon in the very early hours of the morning, I can remember there were times when I'd just suddenly shake myself, so I realized that I hadn't gone to sleep, but I'd completely spaced out and done like half a mission. I didn't even notice I'd done anything. Were you just
downing coffee or doing lines of blow, or I mean, what? I couldn't do that.
No. This is something I mentioned to our QA guy, Marchin, because he was going to stick it out all the way through with me, but he ended up waning just over half. Well, I think he got about 3/4 of the way. I can't remember, but yeah, when I approached him about joining me with it, he goes, "Oh yeah, I'll just get stacked up on Red Bull and all these energy drinks and things like that." I said, don't do that, because you'll just crash.
You'll just crash hard.
Yeah, exactly. So now I just got food as normal. I did drink probably far too much squash and a little bit more coffee than I usually do, but it wasn't too bad.
And how do you recover from something like that? Do you just sleep for another 24 hours immediately after that, or?
No, this is something I mentioned to the guys yesterday, that after the stream, I went, had a shower, got something to eat with the family, and then I started falling asleep on the sofa. So I thought, right, I'll go and have a nap. I thought I'll just have like, I don't know, an hour and a half, 2 hours, just something to kind of boost me up a little bit to make me last till the evening, and then sleep normally through the night. And I ended up going to bed at 1:30, and then I woke up at 7. So
well, whatever.
I thought
I
I was going to have trouble sleeping, but yeah, I got into bed with my laptop, and then I just basically passed out. So.
And now you don't want to play video games anymore.
On the contrary, I'm always up for playing video games, so I don't get sick of them.
Yeah, I couldn't. I don't think I could do anything for 24 hours. Nothing.
I'd like to try and I'd like to try and push one of the other guys from the team to try and join me next year if we do it. I'd like to do it next year, but I'd like to get at least one other guy doing the full thing with me. Maybe you, John.
Are you gonna up it?
All right.
You're gonna go to 30 hours,
I'll do it.
36 hours.
No, 24 is quite enough, I think.
24 is the end of the line.
Only because you've just agreed to do it.
Yeah.
Now, did you take piss breaks? Did you pee in a bottle? Did you install
no.
a
It's
catheter?
it's not quite that strict. No, I did go. I was drinking far too much squash to not go. I'd have exploded. The only time, like grabbing food and things like that, but I was mostly like drinking and eating while I was still playing. The only time where I was properly interrupted from gaming and all this was, I can't even remember the time. I'd like to say it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, but I could be wrong. My daughter ended up having a night terror, and she was just hysterically crying and screaming and all this, and my wife couldn't get her to settle, so I had to go away for a bit and help settle her down, and then came back. And I was supposed
It was
to.
around 1 o'clock, I think, because I was around for that.
Was it? It was all a blur. I can't remember. But because I started at 10, obviously I was supposed to finish at 10, but because I stepped away for a bit, I actually carried on until 11. So it's technically a 25-hour stream, but like I said, I stepped away for a bit. So,
Well, I'm glad you did it. And what'd you end up raising?
I can actually. I've got it open here. What have we got at the moment? Do a look.
400 and something, wasn't it, in the end?
439. What have we got?
Not bad.
I'm
Not too
happy.
shabby.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
Good
And people
work.
can carry on.
So that's what we do. We send out our guys to do charity events like playing video games nonstop, shitting in their chairs, and that's good. Thank you, Kurt. I want to say thank you. I don't have any kids, but I'm sure there's a lot of kids that appreciate it. So.
And it went to the Tucson Medical Center. Is that right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That is where I was born.
All right.
And where you currently are.
I am also in Tucson. I'm not at TMC right now, but I am not far. We're actually like 3 blocks from there, so I can literally see the money pouring in. Thank you.
Well, this is my thinking, because you can pick which hospital you want the money to go to. And in previous years, because obviously I'm over here in the UK and it's only for American children's hospitals, I've always gone for the Boston Children's Hospital, because it's one of the few that specialize in treating children from all around the world. And but this one, because it's a team effort and all this, and we've got the HQ over in Tucson, I thought it makes the more sense to go for that one this time around.
Well, good. Thanks for supporting my, I guess you can call it an alma mater, but the place where I was shat into existence 35 or so years ago. So anyway, that's our introduction, is to talk about how charitable our company is now. We send our guys on long missions of game playing, and we're glad he did it. And he'll do it again next year. And if any of you are going to do anything like this, let us know, and maybe we'll help you out or send somebody in to play with you for a while. But these are always good events. On topic, I guess it's our top topic every week. Every episode we do these now is virtual reality, because I feel like even though we're working on it, it really is what everybody's doing nowadays. Am I right? Is this what you guys are doing? Like, aside from your charity event where you were not playing VR, you pretty much only play VR now these days, right?
I do. I think Kurt is a bit more balanced in what he plays, but I spend most of my time in VR if I have gaming time, yeah.
What's the new hot game? What is everyone talking about in the virtual world?
Well, Serious Sam came out in VR, which is incredible. It's it's a wave-based shooter, which most VR games are right now, to be honest. But it's it's Serious Sam, and it's
who would make another wave-based game? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, God, who would even think about such an idea?
Morons.
No, it's good. It's really good. It's exactly what you'd expect. It just needs co-op, really, which I guess is on the way. I've not actually looked at the roadmap.
It's not half-baked. They just released a good game, just minus co-op.
Yeah. It's in early access, but they've it's a good game. It's fairly complete as it is. I don't know. Did you get a chance to play it yet, Kurt?
No, I've not been able to grab it yet, but it's definitely on my list. As you say, I'm a bit more balanced. I share my time between standard, I guess you'd call it, and VR gaming. I was actually just playing a game before we got into this. What was it called? Driftwood? Something like that? Driftwatch, sorry. It was called, which is basically an on-rails shooter, but it's all bow and arrow and crossbows.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
I saw
fun,
a game I wanted to play the other day, and I talked to John about it, but I still haven't. Does that count? What was that game that got discounted? It's the top game. I don't know. It's something in VR. I act like a clueless gamer right now.
Yeah, I've forgotten what it was now, actually. But yeah, of course, the PlayStation VR's come out. I've yet to actually try it, but I do plan on picking one up, well, when the Pro comes out, which I guess is tomorrow. Is that the Pro coming out?
We tried the PSVR at Rezzed.
Yeah.
And?
Yeah, this is true. I suppose. Yeah, no, it's good. It's pretty good then, but back then I didn't really have much of a base to compare it to.
Yeah.
Like, I'd only really tried the Vive once, and it was all amazing to me then. But now I'll be able to do like a side-by-side comparison. It certainly looks cooler than the Vive. I mean, I love the Vive, I really do, but I mean, it's not the prettiest pieces of tech.
Oh, I get so annoyed putting that thing on, though. Not even just putting it on; it's the in-between that's a problem. Like, you can't really take it off when you want to switch between things, and it's extremely uncomfortable on the top of your head.
Yeah, and of course, when you're working in dev, you're constantly sort of coming in and out of it all the time, and it's not ideal for that at all.
But there's going to be some... Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, once it's actually on and strapped up correctly, it's really comfortable, and you can wear it for hours.
Oh yeah, for sure. I bet there's going to be some long-term neck issues associated with game dev and VR.
Quite possibly.
Not that we already don't have neck issues from this looking down at your cell phones and.
Well, I nearly had a friend break her neck while she was over here the other day playing it. We were, celebrating my birthday, and she, I tried her out on it, and she fell in love with it. She was just, oh my god, this is amazing. So we tried her through a few games, and we put her in Tilt Brush, which is just kind of like a painting app, but in 3D and in virtual reality. And we left her to it then, and at one point she managed to fall straight onto my PC. And don't worry, the PC's okay, by the way. But she really badly bruised herself.
On another note, she hurt herself. I feel that. I was in a tech demo the other day for whatever it is we're working on, and I actually almost fell on my face immediately.
Yeah, it's definitely a hazard. Because you've got the chaperone system, which is really good, but once you're really immersed in the zone, and if you're going backwards, this is where the problem can be, of course, because you're not really aware that the chaperone's behind you, and
I guess so what screws it up for
not to.
What screws up for me though is that I have a lot of people coming in and out of my office playing, and while I have these things mounted as high as possible, sometimes a really tall person comes in and I have to adjust a little bit, and I don't really think about it, but every time you do that, you really need to reset it up. It doesn't really know where the wall is if you change the angle that it's set at. So
I just got mine right up at the top of the wall there.
I need to do that. I need to mount these on the roof so that if someone's too tall for that, then they just can't play, because I have a problem with people running into my wall, swinging, hitting my credenza back there. It's a hazard. It's a worthwhile hazard.
John's experienced me being a hazard in VR when I came down to visit him.
I've still got a dent in my wall from you, Kurt.
Did I dent the wall?
You did dent the wall, yes.
That wasn't even the one I was talking about. I was actually referring to when I hit you.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that happened as well. Yeah. Good times.
Well, whatever. That's VR. It is what it is. It's a novelty that's not quite the norm yet. And we're hoping that it will be, because we're spending some time and money on it right now. And not that we can really talk about it, but I don't know. We're working on something in VR. Does that count as talking about it?
I wish we could say more. We really need to plan our announcement at some point.
Yeah, we'll
Until
talk
then,
about
guys.
it
Sorry.
Yeah, not much to say other than just wait. You probably will like it or hate it. We don't give a shit. We like it.
I do think that VR has a permanent home. It's just at the moment, obviously, it's just a very experimental area. No one really quite knows what direction it's going to take. So
yeah, it's a very experimental, expensive niche.
Yeah, I'd definitely be interested to know the PlayStation VR sales figures, because it's obviously it's going to be its first mass adoption.
Well, what's nice about it is that you don't even need a Pro for it. It'll work on a regular PS4 as well, which allows the masses to try it out. I mean, they have to essentially buy a whole nother system because it's another $500, but it's $500 well spent.
Well, it's supposed to be really good, the PlayStation VR as well, by all accounts. I think the tracking isn't quite as good as something like the Vive, but it's not going to be. It's not.
Well, maybe by the next time we do one of these, one of you guys will have it. And
hopefully I will.
Give us an actual playthrough. Well, not a playthrough, but a talk through of how it went.
I need to buy a PlayStation 4 yet.
Oh, well. We'll let John get it this time around, and if he likes it, then you go for it. I guess the next big topic is the Nintendo announcement, and I don't know. I really don't know how I feel about it. It's the Nintendo Switch. It is a system that is essentially a console that you can pick up and use the controllers as controllers for the console. Then you can connect it to the system, and then it becomes a portable system. And I don't know, John, why don't you talk more about it? Because I don't know what the hell it was all about.
Well, yeah, so it's basically a new handheld console that you can stick into a dock, which then becomes effectively a home console. Although I'm pretty sure that the actual base itself doesn't add to the power of it. It may add to the cooling efficiency and allow it to overclock, so to speak. But I'm really excited for it because I love handheld gaming, and of course the PlayStation Vita came out, and that was supposed to be a big thing. It sold really badly, and I thought that was going to be the end of it, right? It would just all be mobile phones. So this is kind of a surprise for me that we're actually going to get another handheld console, which will play console quality games, assumedly. It looks really cool. I think they've hit the nail on the head. There's certainly a lot of hype for it because, for example, when the Wii came out, all of my casual gamer friends, for want of a better word, didn't know what the hell it was, hadn't really heard of it, but everybody's asking me about the Switch. So they've definitely got the marketing right.
And when does it come out?
March 2017.
That's not too far away. They'll have the system out before E3 next year, and I don't know, maybe Nintendo will be back again. Maybe
I think they will, as long as they support it well enough with software out the gate, which I think is why they've delayed it a bit, because it's supposed to be coming out around about now, and they decided to push it back, and I'm assuming that's so they can port some Wii U games over and whatnot.
Maybe we can port a game over to it.
I hope so. I'd love to see one of our games, one of our future games at least, come to a Nintendo console.
Postal.
Yeah, probably not Postal.
Whatever's next. Well, that's about that for the Switch. I don't really have anything more to say about it. It's really hard for me to say a lot about just a video that we saw. And looks novel, but then again, so did the Wii, and I slept at Walmart one night to get a Wii, and then I never bought a game for it.
You did? How did you do that?
I don't know. It was a weird Christmas. I didn't really sleep there. I got there at like 1 a.m. and they opened the doors at 4. So I got in line with 8 or 9 people, and then it turned out they had whatever number I was in line was the last Wii U they had. Then I did get a Wii U, and I never played it. This is a running theme with me in consoles. I have this inner desire to have whatever the latest, greatest tech is. I get it. I play a game or two on it, and then I don't play it anymore.
See, I was the other way around with the Nintendo, because as a lot of people, I was a massive N64 fan, and then when the Dreamcast came out, not Dreamcast, what am I talking about? GameCube came out. I thought, well, I'm definitely going to get that as it's the next thing. So I picked that up, got about 3 games for it, and then never played them. Then when I saw the Wii U, I just thought, wow, that just seems like a fad. I played it when a friend got it and enjoyed the games that came with it, like the Wii Tennis and all that, but didn't think it was enough to actually want to buy it. The Wii U, couldn't care less about. But seeing the Switch has actually got me really quite excited for it again. It's got my interest for the first time in a long time for Nintendo.
Nintendo needs something like that because there is a segment of gaming, which I consider to be the younger crowd of gaming, that needs something like a Nintendo system that actually is mass appealed. I'm not sure the Switch is something that's so easy for a kid to adapt to, but we'll see. I don't know. Maybe it is. I guess I don't quite grasp the concept, but you know, I'm old as shit, and I'm not exactly what you'd call a hardcore gamer anymore. So, not my cup of tea, but you guys will definitely enjoy it. My cup of tea, though, is cell phones, and I just can't help but sort of laugh at what Samsung's going through right now. As I've traveled around, I've actually seen this happening. I've been in quite a few airports where they have kiosks set up, and they're actually taking Galaxy Note 7s from people. It is now an FAA regulation that Note 7s cannot be brought on planes, period, even in the off position. It's pretty scary, actually. I mean,
it is really.
Yeah, you know.
Has anything like this happened before? I mean, just
well,
there's
sort of always been reports of phone batteries heating up or something happened in somebody's pocket, but there's never been any type of recall done. Samsung straight up recalled this phone. I mean, at first they recalled it minor with a software update that supposedly limited the battery at like 60% because they claimed it was the battery overcharging or overheating at a certain percentage. And then the phones continued to blow up. And now it's just a shit show. They supposedly were reporting that over 2 million people would keep their Note 7s. I don't know what those 2 million people are thinking. I mean, I get it. It's a nice piece of tech. It's probably... I mean, I haven't played with one, but I did have a Note 2, and it was a great phone. But, I mean, really, like, if you're hearing that phones are blowing up and the company's like, get rid of your fucking phone, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
You get rid of your phone. And I realized Apple was in there to swoop in and take a bunch of these people because they had just released a relatively decent phone. But, you know, Samsung people are going to stick with Samsung, and they're going to, well, supposedly the Note line might be dead now.
I'd say so. Yeah,
you can't just say, hey, we fixed this problem. Come try our Note 8.
Of course, what's scary is that these are intended for the Gear VR headsets going back to VR. And can you imagine one of those blowing up and got strapped to your face?
Right,
I don't know if that's happened to anybody, but...
Yeah, I actually had a little scare when I was on my honeymoon in Mexico 2 weeks ago. We were sitting in a room watching... I don't know, Black Mirror or something, and both me and my wife smelled smoke. And we looked to the left of the bed where the smoke was coming from, and I had some USB hub plugged into the wall, and then I had some aftermarket iPhone cable plugged into it, and that was just sitting on the ground, like not plugged into anything. And the tip of the iPhone lightning cable was red hot and smoking. Now, luckily, it was on tile. Luckily, it wasn't on the bed or even on the rug that was right next to it, because this would have started a huge fire. And I've never been the kind of person that unplugs shit, ever. And now I'm all of a sudden this like person that's worried about electrical fires, because I watched one almost happen right in front of my face. Now, mind you, this was in Mexico, where I can't verify the voltage was of any good quality. The hotel wasn't particularly new. The USB splitter I was using was some off-brand I got on Amazon. And of course the cable, which is a high-end third-party brand, was still a third-party cable. So this was like this major recipe for disaster. But this was my almost Samsung Note story, except with the aftermarket USB cable. And I don't know, man. If I had a phone that was... They were talking about blowing up after watching that shit happen. Bye.
Yeah, I can't really think. I can't imagine the thought process of going, well, this could blow up in my hand or in my pocket.
But it's so good.
It's kind of savvy. Yeah. It's worth the risk.
I don't know. No. I guess there's some things that are worth risking. You know, we all know that people die drinking. We all know that cigarettes kill you. And people still smoke a lot of fucking cigarettes. Do you smoke, Kurt?
Used to. I started, the first time I ever smoked was actually when I was 12. But yeah, I quit about 5 or 6 years ago now.
Good. You quit too, John?
I did. I've quit vaping now as well, even.
Awesome.
Congrats.
I also quit
Nicotine-free.
smoking a couple of years ago too. So this is now a smoke-free podcast, and that's good because that shit is disgusting.
Not to be like preachy, because I'm all for anyone doing whatever they want to do. I've got nothing really against it, but I don't quite see the appeal of it these days. Because like back in the day, you had the whole thing of, oh, it makes you look cool, it makes you look more adult, and all
Right,
that.
now nobody does it.
Quite,
You're part of
Yeah.
it, like a huge minority.
so I find it weird of what exactly does it, what gets people started on it these days. I don't know.
Well,
was
it's a means to an end.
Teenagers, isn't it?
Right,
Still
and of
rebellious.
course, it's something they can't do as a kid, so you want to do it. But here's my problem with it. I'm all for people inebriating themselves. I like people getting drunk. I like people doing some drugs, but there's a means to an end here. Like, you're doing something to get intoxicated, to have a good time, so to speak. Some drugs, not so much, and alcohol tends to make people angry, but whatever, at least you're getting inebriated. Cigarettes don't do fucking anything. You get it, you get a little bit of a nicotine fix, or if you're nervous, it can help you out, but for fuck's sake, like, you're not even getting anything out of it, and all you're doing is, A, you're smelling like shit, B, you are killing yourself to no end. I mean, obviously, we're all dying at a rate because of whatever. Fucking chlorofluorocarbons in the air, radio waves in the fucking airplanes, and I get it, we're all getting hit with shit, but we are choosing to smoke cigarettes, which are very expensive and disgusting. So this is our PSA to all of our fans that smoke. Cut that shit out. Smoke weed. At least you're getting high.
Smoke weed every day.
What do you make of vaping then, Mike? Like,
Well,
as a fashion accessory as it is now.
As a fashion accessory, I think it's awful. It is the most douchey thing on earth. But that's not to say I haven't done it. I did do it for a while because it was one of the things that helped me stop smoking. And I think that is another good means to an end. It replaces your cigarette, and it gives you something to do, which is, part of the addiction is an oral fixation and inhaling something and breathing it out. So it's giving you something to do. The problem is I've seen more people that became vape addicts that never smoked.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
And the worst part about it is with a cigarette, it's finite. You smoke it, a minute and a half later, it's gone. Now, that's not to say you can't smoke a whole pack, but it's a process and it's ridiculously expensive. With a vape, you can fill that fucker with juice and just sit there and vape and vape and vape. And the amount of smoke, the amount of vapor that's going into your lungs is like tenfold every hit of a cigarette. And we don't really know we don't really know the long-term repercussions of a lot of things we take. But now, this shit is sold everywhere. And I realize they're starting to regulate in certain places, but it's just, I don't know. I'm glad I don't know about businesses in the UK, but businesses here have stopped people from vaping inside. Because
Yeah. Pretty much everywhere there too.
Look, I don't mind a sweet-smelling fragrance around me every now and again, but when I was sitting at a bar and some fucking douchebag was sitting next to me blowing giant clouds of vapor in my face every 5 to 10 seconds, that is disgusting.
This is the problem, isn't it? I mean, like when vaping originally started, it was all fairly, it was quite subtle. You didn't really notice that somebody was vaping next to you. You could just, as you say, sort of smell a slightly sweet smell. And then they bring out these massive like batteries with a tube sticking out on top of it, which can fill the entire room to the point that everyone's basically drowning in water vapor.
Yeah, the mod community has made these a disgusting, douchey habit. It really is. Yeah. Like, I know some folks, some close friends of mine that carry around their little vapes, and yeah, they're a little bigger than I would like, and it stops them from smoking cigarettes, which is good. But man, if I walk somewhere and I see some guy with his fucking giant battery vape and he's just blowing clouds, it's like, I'm not going to talk to that guy. He is not my friend. He might be the nicest guy on earth, but man, that shit turns me the fuck off. Although, I must say, I think cigarettes are much grosser.
Yeah, I've kind of have two minds of it in a way, because as you say, they help people quit smoking, which is really useful. Like my brother, sister-in-law, and my mum have all quit smoking and moved on to vaping instead, and they've been able to gradually go down the amount of nicotine their things hold, which is great. They're still using them at the moment, but it has helped a hell of a lot. But as you said, I was very much like, as you mentioned, that I don't get why people would start it as a fashion thing who don't smoke beforehand. But I was talking about this to my brother, and he made a bit of an interesting point, because he said it's fair enough saying that, but at the same time, if vaping wasn't there, the chances are they would take up smoking instead. So this is still stopping them.
I don't know, man.
Maybe
I've
not
known
everybody.
I've known some 25-plus-year-olds that never smoked a cigarette in their life, and they are now walking around with giant vapes, talking about what kind of cool e-juice they got. And I'm like, fuck.
Like the connoisseurs or something.
Right. Now, like I said, there's varying degrees of what's hurting you, and we don't really know what vapings do to you, so, the reports are up and down, but I don't know. I'm over it. I'm over it as a visual point to be taken. I like when I see somebody with, like, the little cigarette vapes, because then they are only replacing what they were trying to do. I realize those are more expensive than getting something that can hold a lot of juice and the battery lasts longer and everything, and I get it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just racist against vapes.
It still goes to the point, though, of however much it can be quite sickening to have that sweet smell and everything, like you said. But that against someone blowing cigarette smoke around, I would definitely pick.
Oh yeah, no. If somebody comes up to me with cigarette mouth, or I don't know, they just smell like they're an ashtray, like, ugh. You're right. It's worse. It is worse. I still remember when I was stopping smoking, and I would have a cigarette every now and again when I was out. Every time I smoked one cigarette, or even took a hit, I would go to the bathroom and wash my hands and wash my face, because I couldn't stand the smell of that shit.
That was one of the things that led me. I quit a couple of times, but obviously I started back up again. But it was one of the things that was always the thing that pushed me to quit, was smelling it on my clothes, and especially on my fingers, because if I'd sit like this, I could just smell my fingers, and it'd make me feel so sick.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, in the industry itself, not to go back to the election, but Arizona is one of the few states last night that did not pass legal marijuana. There were a ton of initiatives around the country for medical weed and legalizing marijuana as a as an alcohol type substance. California finally legalized it as a recreational drug. Nevada legalized it as a recreational drug. Arkansas, which is like the armpit, has legalized medical marijuana. Now, we have medical marijuana in Arizona, but we had a bill that would have regulated marijuana like alcohol. Unfortunately, the bill was a little shitty, and it gave too much power to the dispensaries and not enough power to the smoke shops, and there was a lot of money poured into it, the No campaign, by Big Tobacco, Big Alcohol, and they put out tons of fear-mongering ads, actually, basically saying, your kids will be addicted to this. How will your kids know the difference between a weed gummy bear and a regular gummy bear? There was another ad that basically said, do you know how many babies are born right now with marijuana in their system? I mean, are you fucking kidding me? How many babies are born with epidural drugs in their system? That's a hard narcotic. Now, that's fine. That's what we use to help women get through pregnancy. But if a kid's born with marijuana in his system, I really don't give a shit. I mean, that's significantly less of a problem. But we did not pass it. So regression to the max right now.
So in California, where they've legalized it, because it was already, they already have medical marijuana there, right? So now it's actually been fully legalized, as it is completely.
Yes. That's how it is in Colorado and Washington. They've had it.
Oh wow, I didn't realize that. So does that mean they're like big smoke cafes that are open, or like?
No, it's not quite like that. It's recreational use in your own home.
Right. Okay.
But there's dispensaries all over the place, like in Colorado, where anybody, even a tourist, can go in and just buy weed.
So you don't need to pretend you got back problems or anything anymore and get a
No.
medical marijuana certificate. You can actually just
So
go
now
and-
Colorado, Oregon, California, and Nevada, which are basically all of Arizona's neighbors, aside from Utah and New Mexico. I think New Mexico will be next to do it. Then we're going to be this lone shitty state where you just can't get anything but medical weed. And medical weed's fine because in all intents and purposes, that's the more important aspect of this, is that people that really need it can get it. And it's super expensive just to get past the opening gate. In Arizona, you have to, A, go see a doctor that gives you a prescription, or not a prescription, a recommendation. And most of these doctors are ex-naturopaths and people that had some form of fringe medical history, and they give you a fake physical, and they go, oh, yeah, I think you should have weed. So you pay something between $75 and $100 for that exam. Then you have to fill out a full application with the state, you have to get a picture taken, and you have to submit it. Now, getting the doctor's recommendation does not mean you will get the card. The state actually approves based on what you submit. So as long as your paperwork's in order, you'll likely get it. But submitting to the state costs $150. Now that's for 1 year. Every year, you have to go and get a new recommendation from a doctor and pay the state again. So you're in for a minimum, because I had it for a couple of years. I don't even smoke. I don't smoke weed. I do not like the way it makes me feel, but I feel it should be legal. So, of course, I had a card. So I was spending between $210 and $250 a year just to be legal. Now you can say, well, that's not that much if you don't want to get in trouble for carrying around weed, which is, I guess it's a small price to pay. But, the bigger thing here was the tax revenue generated from the bill would have gone to education. And part of the No campaign was some bullshit claim that Colorado hadn't given any of its tax revenue to education, which was like ultra debunked. Tons of money went to education from this. And I don't know. Here we go. Another 4 years till this will come up again. And I guess if I want to be legal with something I don't even do, I got to spend $230, $240 a year to stay legal. So I don't know. I don't know what the weed situation is in the UK. Probably not much better.
That's it's completely illegal over here. No, you can't get it medically. I think you can get like nose spray or something like that, but you can't buy like buds or it.
Like a prescription, you can get a prescription weed.
Yeah, but not of actual buds. I don't think you can
Right, it's a THC spray.
Yeah.
So the thing is, over here is it's not really legal, but it's also not really enforced.
No, nobody seems to give
it is if you got a lot on you, but I mean, like I've so many times you see people going down the street and you can smell the weed that they're smoking and all the rest of it, and no one cares.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, you can't just have.
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest problems in the country here now with weed is that we've got a lot of people rotting in prison for nonviolent crimes, which include marijuana, which include people who had dispensaries in California while it was legal. It's still federally illegal, and they'd be busted by the DEA, and they're sitting in prison. One of the problems with Arizona's was that it was not going to be pardoning nonviolent marijuana criminals, which, the hardcore pro-weed people that want legal weed, but they thought this bill wasn't far enough. They wanted it, these are the people that want all or nothing. Oh, you're giving me partially legal weed, so I'm going to vote no on it because this is not good enough for me. And that's a bullshit sentiment, because at some point this is all going to be legal, but we have to take it in baby steps. You have to take it as it comes. And nope, back to medical. And
That's the one thing that me and my brother have talked about for a long time that I'm surprised hasn't been done here in the UK, is basically for the government to legalize it, but handle it in a similar way to cigarettes. Like you can dispense it as a pack of cigarettes or whatever, like that kind of thing, which has tax on it. because then they'd be making money off it
Well,
as well, and it can be regulated to.
They tax the dispensaries here in Colorado and Oregon. I mean, they're making a lot of tax revenue. It doesn't even need to be PAX. I mean, there's something like a 15% tax in Colorado where they just take it off of the top of their sales. Doesn't matter if they're selling ounces, grams, whatever. The money's all going to the state. The problem I have with big tobacco getting involved in the marijuana industry is that just like cigarettes, everything's going to start getting watered down. You know, it's going to be expensive. It's going to be shittier quality. They're going to use fast-burning paper so that you need to buy more of them. I mean, just like anything else, you know, you look at cigarettes and you look at, I don't know if you have them there, but American Spirit cigarettes here are the no additive cigarettes. They are in actually very slow burning paper. So one of those cigarettes lasts, 5+ minutes. Then you smoke a Marlboro, that shit's gone in, maybe a minute because the paper's so fast burning and there's all kinds of additives in it that make it burn. Ugh, God. I don't know. That's my issue with big tobacco getting involved. And they will get involved. Once marijuana is decriminalized on a national level, which sure as shit ain't happening right now. That's when the big industries get involved, which I'm sure the little guys are scared of because right now this is still all relatively small grow operations that are supplying the dispensaries, and the dispensaries are all relatively small, not necessarily family owned. I mean, they're owned by other businesses in the state, but they're all local. So this is a problem that needs to go away, but of course when the problem goes away on a big level, then that's when the big industry comes after it. So I don't know. We're clearly all pro weed here, so you guys fight for it over there, and I'll try to fight for it over here, even though we just lost. Fuck. All right, well, personally,
my daughter downstairs.
What?
Sorry, I can hear my daughter just going woo downstairs.
No.
Good.
Well, so here's what we're gonna do. I don't know if I mentioned this because I'm not really one to sit and gloat about things, but I did get married a few weeks ago.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
Indeed.
Thank you. And I figure you can all watch the video that was made for my wedding. It is actually an amazing video. I hate wedding videos. I hate them. I fucking hate wedding videos. But the wedding video that was made for mine was pretty cool. And I don't say that because it's my wedding. I say it because it's a cool fucking video. So I'm going to play that, and I'm going to run to the bathroom, and I think everybody else could use a piss, and Kurt could go check on his kid. And with that, we'll see you guys back in about 6 minutes.
Cool.
See you guys.
Now love is all I got, I can't live. Love is all I got, only love in my life. Love is all. Love is all I got now, love is all I got, I can't live. Love is all I got, only love in my life. Love is all. Love is all I got, love is all I got. Live life with love and trust that love will come down to earth and save us all. Love is all I got. I can't live with everything I've lost because love will come to save us all. So save our soul. Wake your soul with love in the morning. Feed your soul with love till the evening. Expand your soul with love on the weekend, cause love is all I got. Wake your soul with love in the morning. Feed your soul with love in the evening. Expand your soul with love on the weekend, cause love is all I got. So wake your soul with love in the morning. Feed your soul with love in the evening. Expand your soul with love on the weekend, cause love is all I got. Wake your soul with love in the morning. Feed your soul with love in the evening. Expand your soul with love on the weekend, cause love is all I got. My darling, I can give you what you want if what you want is love. Darling, I can give you what you want is love. So save our soul.
Now, this question comes from Spectacle. Now that you've actually mentioned it yourselves, talking about VR is the new thing. Our VR game going to have co-op as well?
No, but it wouldn't suit co-op for the sort of gameplay that it is, and we can't say too much more on that at the moment. I mean, I guess it could maybe down the line, but it's been designed as a single-player experience, and then we're looking to possible co-op options depending on what happens.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing we can say other than that, though, is that we are working on 2 separate entities, and one is a multiplayer game.
Yes.
So
I'm just finding this funny that it's all just like little teasers here and there.
We can give
just
teasers.
Really wanting to say something, but we can't.
Yeah, I mean, but these people want to know about multiplayer, and the truth is, we are giving a multiplayer experience, and it's just not intended for the VR to start.
So no, but yes, but no, but maybe. But no.
I mean, we can say we're working on a new franchise, and there's going to be 2 different games within this franchise. And one's going to be a multiplayer game, just for regular, and the other's going to be a VR game, which is going to be a lot more single-player focused.
Take that however, take that however you want to take that. It is, it's not Postal.
No.
So, you guys can take Redux as your last Postal title for a little while. So tell your friends, buy 15 copies. And then another 15 copies, and then another 15 copies, and maybe another 150 copies. I don't know. Just keep buying it. It's a pretty fucking good game, and
and that does have co-op.
And that does have co-op. It has fun co-op too.
Very fun co-op. Yes.
If you want to play some RWS co-op, go play some fucking Redux, please. This question's from Delta 2 X-Ray for John. What's the most difficult in VR development?
It's a good question, really. Well, motion sickness absolutely is something that we really want to avoid, and the sort of game that we're making can lead to motion sickness if it's not done correctly. So we're currently experimenting with a lot of different things. I mean, the first prototype that Mike tried of the camera setup that we had in it.
I actually almost fell over. I grabbed my couch. I have a couch over here, and I had to grab it because I don't know. Whatever was happening in the game, I was moving my head to kind of adjust for it, and that threw off my equilibrium. And I don't have motion sickness problems. Although, and we'll get to this in a little bit when we talk about some movie shit, Doctor Strange gave me fucking motion sickness. That shit is out of control. But back to our questions. This one's also from Delta 2 X-Ray for Kurt. How do you make sound for a VR experience?
I don't know.
Haven't gotten there yet, have you?
Pretend you know, Kurt.
Just make something up.
Damn. I've managed to avoid letting these guys know that I don't know what I'm doing.
We know.
No, the actual making of sounds is very much the same as for any other game. There's a lot more, because it's a lot more positional within a world. Not as much is done using stereo files. It seems to be my experience at the moment. The thing that is a big difference that not many people will notice without, it's hard to put it, it's a more of what's the word, a subconscious thing that happens, is the way the sound is presented to you in a stereo field. This is, I don't know if this is going to be boring talk.
Keep talking. Who cares, man? They want to hear it. They're talking to developers because they want to hear the boring bullshit.
Very true. But yeah, traditional stereo is handled basically by just simple volume adjustment between the ears. So it's just, if it's over here, it's just a little bit quieter on this side. Whereas in for VR development, a lot more is but they're using something called binaural processing. So that is actually taking into account the time difference that it takes for the sound to travel from one side of you to the other side for the other ear, and then frequency absorption for for your actual head and body. I'm being interrupted by the wife.
Yeah.
Get out!
They say get out.
Just kidding. We love you.
But yeah, it's like I say, it's a time difference between the ears, which is like in nano to microseconds and things like that. It's all these very tiny little nuances that you don't really notice up front, but it's something you can tell subconsciously is quite a difference. It's a massive difference to be able to tell where something is placed around you, which is needed for VR because it's the whole immersing in a world. So it's mostly to do with handling that rather than the actual making of the sounds, if any of that made sense.
Oh, I'm not even paying attention. But yeah, that all sounds good to me. Hopefully that answered Delta 2 X-rays questions. Okay, his last question's for me. Mike, you heard the latest rumors that the Galaxy S8 will be available from bigger sizes from 5.7 to 6.1 because of... Oh, man, why is this so... I gotta change the font size. Hold on. Because of the Note 7 disaster. Well, yeah, but... So here's the thing. Of course they're going to do that because then they can do the Galaxy S8 and the Galaxy S8 Plus, which is very similar to what the iPhone does. They just have the same model. One's bigger, one's smaller. And I guess from a branding side of things, that makes sense because you're getting away from the word Note, which is synonymous with fucking bomb right now. So anything you can do to stay away from that. And clearly there's a market for these bigger phones. So whether they don't rebrand at all and they just call it the S8 Plus or the S8 bigger or the S8 inches or I don't know, they call it something else. They got to have the bigger market phone because clearly people like those. I personally am a 7 Plus user. I was a 6S Plus and a 6 Plus user. I am very used to these massive phones that I cannot use with one hand while I piss. For multiple reasons. One, the battery life is better. Two, the screen is just bigger for a lot of things I do. And in the 7 Plus's case, the camera is actually a lot better. I do use the portrait mode. It's nice to have an actual physical 2x zoom, so you can have full quality photos at at the next level of zoom. Yeah, no, I have POSTAL on my iPhone too. But it's
suggesting someone's asked about having a Postal game on mobile, so I was just showing that off.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
So that's the end of that question. We'll go through the questions now. Maki off Twitter wants to know, can or will be the Postal games made viable in Germany again? We've answered this question at length, actually, and I hate to say no, but no. Basically, at this point, all it is a... It's a hunt for money. They don't give a shit about our games being up, and they really don't care about the games in general at all. These games were banned 13 years ago, include our games and other games, other violent games that were made 13, 14, 15 years ago. And for whatever reason, the German government has upheld these bans, and they are now enforcing them on sites like Steam. They're not banning new games, so if we were to make another Postal game right now, in all likelihood, it would probably be okay there. But we'd have to go through the full approval process with the German government. And there's multi-levels to that, and at the end of the day, basically what they told us is you have to pay X dollars, and X dollars means in the 5 figures per title for a hearing. Now, that will require a lot of paperwork, that will require a lawyer, and it doesn't even guarantee that the games will be available. I personally am of the opinion, and I'm sure my team would agree, that that money is better spent on our next title. We wish you guys could buy it on Steam. You can't. There's other ways to get it. If you want to send me an email, I can probably help you out. But for the masses, there's really no way. I hate to tell you this, but just like I said from a long time ago, at the end of the day, we'd love you to buy our game, but we don't care if you pirate it. Get the game however you can. If you want to check out Redux and you can't get it on Steam, fucking torrent it. at the end of the day, it'd be nice if we could make a little bit of money. And you know what? If you want to be a real kick-ass person, torrent the game and then PayPal us some money. Feel vindicated in your piracy, but you don't have to. Just play our games and tell your friends, and maybe the next game we make won't be banned anywhere, because if we can talk about that for a second. Being the bad boy of the industry, which we're truly not anymore, has gotten us where we are. And while it was fun, while it lasted, it does take a toll. I mean, there's a lot that goes into development of every game. The shittiest games on earth had a fuckload of work done by a lot of people. And whether it's troll bashing on the internet or just overwhelmingly negative reviews by reviewers or by Steam users, you know, it sucks. But at the end of the day, what sucks even worse is when you make something that's good and people like it and it just doesn't sell. And whether that has to do with censorship or lack of interest or whatever it is, we've got to kind of get away from this overwhelmingly, I don't know, niche crowd that for whatever reason has stuck for almost 20 years now. Violent video games are as mainstream as they come now, but for whatever reason, Postal is still Postal. Can't tell you why. Back to the mobile title that somebody asks about, will we ever get Postal on mobile? We fucking do have Postal on mobile, but the only place you can buy it is the goddamn Amazon App Store, which, nothing taken away from Amazon. They are great people. Nobody buys games on the Amazon App Store. Google Play, for those of you that don't know, took it upon themselves to use their brand new rules of censorship to reject Postal 1 for Android after it had been out on beta. People had paid for it because the Android beta system requires people pay for their fucking games. And then they decided that it violated some new code of honor that they set about for enlightening tragedy. Now, whatever that tragedy is that we're enlightening, we violated. I tried to appeal to them by saying, look, you fucking clowns. You sell this movie, you sell that movie, you sell this game, you sell that game. Why on God's green fucking earth would this shitty little top-down ISO shooter from 1997 be such a problem? And they sent me back a really generic response, basically telling me to go fuck myself. And I've tried other channels and gotten nowhere. So while we have Postal running on Android, we have Postal 1 running on iPhone, it's just not going to happen. If anybody really wants it, if anybody listening has an iPhone and they want the latest build, get in touch with me and I will see what I can do. The problem is we just can't spend any money or time getting these things even to places like you know, the jailbreak store for the iPhone. Clearly we could put it up there. It might sell a few copies, but the amount of time and effort it would take to get there is not worth the effort. Just like Android, we didn't spend it. We had a guy, a very good developer by the name of Emil. He spent his time working on the Android version, and he did a really great job. And, you know, there's not much we can say. His work was not appreciated by Google, and we were one of the first games that they decided to just take off based on their censorship. So that question is now answered. Sorry, friends. Wow, we have a few more questions. The Space Pirate from YouTube. Hey, Running with Scissors. Do you think we will get to see a second Postal movie? I love the first one. And would back a second movie in a heartbeat.
It won't be Uwe Boll, that's for sure.
He's gone.
Uwe Boll has retired from filmmaking. If there is one thing that I can say the film industry can rejoice over, it is the retirement of Uwe Boll. I like him personally. He's not a bad guy. I've hung out with him. I was on set with him. He is basically one of us. He could be on our podcast. He is a shithead, just like the three of us. He likes to talk shit. He actually enjoys the things that he does. but he makes garbage. Truly, he truly makes garbage. And that said, Postal was his by far greatest achievement. And unfortunately, it was buried by his biggest fucking financial flop, which was In the Name of the King, a Dungeon Siege tale starring Jason Statham, Ray Liotta, Burt Reynolds, Lily Sobieski, Ron Perlman. Let's keep that list going and conclude that it cost him $60 million. It is a raging piece of shit that me and the team back in the day all paid to see in the theater just to support him. And for whatever amount of time, 2.5 hours, we were laughing at the screen. And not because it was funny, because it was horrid. Just fucking horrid. But before that movie came out, and this is a little tale, I don't know if we've talked about it at all, but we're going to talk about it now. If you don't know, Postal the movie was picked up by Vivendi Universal. A few of his movies were picked up by Vivendi Universal to be released theatrically and DVD. And In the Name of the King was done, Postal was done, and they were like planning the release of both. And I, without even having to see In the Name of the King, because I hadn't seen it yet, other than what I had heard from a couple of other team members that saw pieces of it when they were on set for Postal, was if you release this epic garbage film before you release our film, you are going to lose all credibility with the theater buyers. Vivendi disagreed with me, and they got In the Name of the King in something like 2,000 screens nationwide. And it just bombed. And the problem is, this was Uwe's Lord of the Rings. He thought he was going to win a fucking Oscar for this film. I mean, he thought his death scene, when Burt Reynolds dies in that movie, he thought it would bring tears to people's eyes. And it did. But we were laughing. Because every actor in that movie mailed in their fucking performance. And not that people didn't mail in their performance for Postal, but that's the kind of movie it was. It was meant to be bad. It was meant to be a stupid comedy. And while I personally feel that the Postal movie wasn't cut well enough and it started on a high note and just was a downward spiral all the way through it, it still had very funny moments. And I think there was a college crowd that would have loved it and a DVD crowd that would have bought it en masse. But because In the Name of the King tanked so hard, all the theater buyers backed out of Postal, and without a theatrical release, all the retail stores backed out of a DVD release of Postal. So what would have been a couple million units of Postal out on DVD with probably a modest theatrical release turned into, 10, 20, 30,000 DVD sales. And basically nothing. It supposedly did relatively well on Netflix, but those are numbers we were never privy to, and it's not there anymore.
Yeah,
but
I'm surprised it got onto Netflix, actually.
Yeah, it was on Netflix
what's the story
for a while.
behind that?
Vivendi
Did you know the story behind it?
No, there's no real story. Vivendi just took all of his titles and they put them on Netflix. Anybody can really do that. I mean, they're not going to pay very much, and sometimes they pay based on viewership, and I don't know how it did, but I believe one of our listeners is now an Uwe spy because he created Uwe's own site called Bullflix. So if any of you are interested in paying to see Postal, which is not something I'm going to say to go do, you can go to Bullflix and watch any number of his amazing flicks. And one other question I just saw, what did I think of the Rampage series? I actually saw the first Rampage. I didn't see anything else. And all I could think of was, wow, that's actually funny because the original treatment we in-house wrote for the Postal movie was a lot more like Rampage. It was not meant to be a slapstick comedy. It was meant to be a dark comedy. And there were some scenes in Rampage that were straight out of our treatment for Postal. So I didn't hate it. I also didn't love it. I didn't think the acting was great. I thought the cinematography was actually relatively decent, but not good enough for me to take a dive into his other films. And I'm a film buff. I watch a lot of fucking movies, and I don't watch his movies. So take that for what it's worth. End of Postal movie question. We have questions about the new IP. This question is from Fanex of Power from YouTube. Can we even have the smallest hint on the new IP? Even a villain? A single word, even?
It's new.
Damn, I feel like I want to say something. I just don't know.
We all want to say something, but
Yeah. No, yeah.
I don't know. Let me put it. Here's one thing I will say. It's a new title for us. It's a new IP for us. But the gameplay style is not new for us. This is something that you guys are relatively familiar with if you are old school fans of ours. And that's about it. If you've played enough Postal, especially enough Postal multiplayer, then you may or may not know what we're doing. But that has no bearing on the actual game itself. That's just a hint to the gameplay style. So there is your hint, and that is the last question. So let's move on to our final topic of the day, which we can just segue out of UVA into, which is movies, TV shows, and anything you've been watching lately. What have you been doing lately, Kurt, outside of the gaming world? Have you been watching any TV shows on Netflix? Have you been watching anything?
no. I've just been doing my usual thing of working, doing my YouTube, and doing the family stuff. Really,
So you're living your own little movie.
Yeah, pretty much. There's so much I need to catch up on. I really, really need to catch up on The Walking Dead because
You do.
I am only. This is the problem that I have. I've already had at least one spoiler, but I am only at the start of season 4. So I've got a lot.
Pretty fucking far behind. You actually have a lot of garbage to watch right now.
You do.
It's
great. That doesn't
shit.
exactly
I mean,
inspire me.
truly, the show is still shit, but there's an actor now on the show which I consider to be the best actor the show has ever picked up. Did you guys see Watchman? Did you see the movie The Watchman?
Yes, I can't remember his name, but I absolutely love
Jeffrey
him.
Dean Morgan is his
That's the
name. He is on Walking Dead right now, and I'm not going to spoil anything other than I want to give the man a fucking Emmy right now. He is absolutely amazing. He is terrifying. He is cold as fuck. And I don't know, I guess watching through the show, just every villain on the show just hasn't really gotten to me. And the way I've heard people compare it is this guy will burn into your brain like Joffrey in Game of Thrones.
The first time I saw this guy, sorry to cut you off. The first time I saw this guy was in Supernatural, if you've seen that.
Yeah.
And I really like that. I'm a big fan of the Supernatural series. And then I saw him in Watchmen. The thing I'm interested in, because I haven't seen Batman and Superman.
Neither have I.
But I saw something that says that at some point he's played Batman's father. So I'm guessing it's in Batman versus Superman. But there's been a hint that because in the comics there's a universe, there's loads of universe tangents. One of them where the Flash goes back in time to save somebody. Can't remember what it is, but it leads to, instead of Batman's parents dying, Bruce Wayne's parents dying and him becoming Batman, Bruce Wayne dies and his father becomes Batman, his mother becomes Joker. But there's an idea that there's a possibility that in the future there's going to be a Batman film that goes along that. So did you say Jeffrey Dean Morgan is his name?
Yes.
That if they do that, then he'll be playing Bruce Wayne's father again and thus be Batman.
I actually heard recently that they're looking at doing a Watchman TV series too, and I don't know.
I've heard about.
I don't know if him or whatever Michael Joel Haley or any of those guys are actually going to be involved. But man, if you guys haven't seen Watchmen, and this is getting to be an older flick here, I mean, that really is one of the first great comic book movies, and as opposed to other comic book movies that tend to have good stuff, but they fail at the source material. The Watchmen movie actually improved the source material, in my opinion, because the ending of the Watchmen graphic novel is just crumpled garbage, and it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. The ending of the movie makes a lot of sense. Did you see the movie, John?
He's muted.
Cannot hear you.
So yeah, no, I didn't see it. No.
Well, that is some required fucking viewing, my friend,
Yeah,
because it's long and it's talky, and it's a little preachy, but it is very fucking good.
No.
And there is a director's
I
cut
will
of it
make a
too.
note.
There is a director's cut of that movie, which is beyond excellent. And you know, this is like I'm telling you to watch it because it's required viewing because it's good. Like I said, I haven't seen Batman vs Superman, and even though I've heard that the extended edition is better, I did go see that piece of shit movie with Harley Quinn and fucking Joker, sort of. What is it called? The Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad.
Oh my fucking god! I mean,
I will actually say I actually enjoyed that.
what?
I enjoyed it. The thing is that a lot of people didn't like it. I mean, this could be completely different for you and for a lot of people, but most of the comments I saw, the reason why most people didn't like it is that it didn't fall into line of the previous kind of Batman films that they'd seen, whereas the comics for Suicide Squad, the general kind of writing for those comics is completely different.
No, what I didn't like about it is that I felt like it was 14 movies garbled together and none of them connected whatsoever. The first 20 minutes of the movie I actually thought was really cool when they were bringing them together and they were giving their backstories. Then once they were together, I didn't give 1 ounce of a shit. And everything they said made me cringe. Everything that happened made me cringe. The boss battle at the end made me cringe. And the only thing that was redeeming, I actually felt, which people trashed on, I thought Jared Leto's Joker was pretty fucking good and not given enough screen time. And while I thought Harley came off really crass and over the top because she had nothing to play off of. It was her with a bunch of useless characters. Will Smith was great, but his character was useless. He was truly useless. And the fucking rock guy, the guy that looked like the Thing, that wanted to watch BET at the end, like, come on. I mean, this was so dumb.
Killer, like I say, I'm not, I didn't say, but I'll say no. I'm not saying that it wasn't without fault, but I don't think it was as crap as everyone made it out to be. I found it enjoyable, and yeah, I'll agree that there were things that made me cringe. Killer Croc, I think he was portrayed completely wrong.
He shouldn't have even been in the movie. He didn't do anything.
I was not so much let down, but I think I was led astray like a lot of people because I thought it was going to be an amalgamation of stories for all the characters when it was introduce the characters and then it's the Will Smith show with partly Harley Quinn show.
Right, like, oh, here's all the characters, but no, all we care about is Will Smith's kid? Like, no, we don't care.
The one character that got me, I can't actually remember his name, but they introduced him and I was like, who the hell is that? Like, there's no way he's going to stick around with it. And then like 5 minutes later,
he died.
He's offed. And he's like, oh. So,
yeah, I remember that. That happened kind of when they were in the middle of the battle. Like, oh, hey, here's a new guy. Oh, now he's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I just didn't see the point in at all.
Let's not talk about things that are garbage. Let's talk about things that are good. And I don't think either of you have seen it, but Doctor Strange came out on Friday. Now,
No,
I am not a comic book reader. I don't read comic books. I had no clue who or what Doctor Strange was. The trailers kind of looked cool, but a little confusing and maybe a little weird. That movie is fucking insane. It is awesome. And I will warn you, I do not get motion sickness. And that movie gave me fucking motion sickness. I saw it in IMAX 3D. And I don't know. All of the... Basically, I'd say a third of the movie is like those scenes from Inception where the buildings are like falling together and everything like that. But they're running through it. And it just... It really threw my equilibrium off bad. But it was great. The only thing I must say, and this is not me spoiling anything, this is just me telling you, and you guys are British, so it will drive you fucking nuts, is Benedict Cumberbatch plays an American guy in this. And his American accent is awful. I mean, really, really awful. So be prepared to. I mean, he acts well, but his accent is awful. So see that movie. That is some fucking money. And there's another movie coming out this weekend called Arrival, I believe, and it's with Amy Adams and Jeremy Renner, and it currently still sits at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, I believe. Let me make sure of that, but that takes a hell of a film to maintain that kind of review score. I'm sorry, it's 98% right now. What a piece of shit. Nobody should see it. But, yeah, Arrival comes out this week. I'm very excited about that. Another movie called Passengers comes out soon, and that's another sci-fi film with J-Law, Jennifer Lawrence, and I don't know, what's his name from Guardians of the Galaxy? Chris Pratt. And then on the nerdier side of things, the new Fantastic Beasts movie comes out. Are you guys Harry Potter fans at all?
Never seen it.
None of them?
None of them.
What about you, Kurt?
Nope.
I've
seen one. I've seen one.
Shit, you British
and I don't even know which one it was.
These movies are British films. Well, they're not really British films. They're just British actors. And they are fucking great.
Yeah, I've had someone going on at me that I need to watch these films, so I probably will now.
Personally, I think you should read the books. The films are cool. The books are really, really good. They're kids' books, but they're good kids' books. And they're fun films. The first two are for children. They truly are. But they're good films. And the later movies get very adult, and they're good stuff. And this is a whole new series that is really going to... this is a film-based series. So I'm guessing you're not going to need to see Harry Potter to enjoy Fantastic Beasts. But this is filled with good actors. And I think it will be... I'm excited about it.
It's a series that I want to read the books, and I want to see the films. I've just not gone around to it. Like I said, I've seen one of the films, and I really enjoyed it, and I don't know which one it was.
You've seen one of the films? God. What, am I the loser of this group here? Am I the nerd?
Yep.
Damn
I'm not going to say you are, because I seem to play more video games than you. I've got Funko Pops over there. I read comics.
Oh yeah, well,
all the rest of it. So, but
we're just different kinds of nerds.
Oh yeah, no. But I did actually see one thing. Apparently, Johnny Depp is going to be in the next Fantastic Beasts.
Johnny Depp is going to be in the next one, and they're not that you guys have seen the original or read the original, but the character of Dumbledore is going to be reintroduced in this because it is a prequel and it takes place prior. They're actually recasting for it, and I saw some chatter the other day about a possibility of either Michael Fassbender or Ewan McGregor, and I think those would be perfect. If you know the character of Dumbledore, then you get it, but you don't because I'm the fucking Harry Potter nerd here. I am such a Harry Potter nerd that when the 5th book was being released, I was working at a bar. I was taking IDs at a bar, and I left the bar at midnight to go get my book at the midnight sale. That is some loser level shit. And I was probably 25, 24 years old at the time. So,
but you didn't do it in cosplay.
I didn't get dressed up. There was a lot of people dressed up there. That was not me. Then the only other thing sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say you're not exactly alone. I mean, it is one that I've been meaning to catch up on for a long time. I just haven't. So,
well, you have a whole new. Not just you have 5 books, well, 7 books, and you've got this new book, which is, it's a screenplay. Once you've read everything, honestly, I read that thing in 2 hours. It's a screenplay. I mean, you can read screenplays in 2 hours. It's a little dumb, but it's cool to kind of follow up the universe. And these movies, I'm actually excited for because I don't really love reading. And what I hate even more is when I have read something and then I have to see a film adaptation of it and I'm all pissed off about what wasn't there. So what's cool about this is that it's actually a whole film franchise based on the same universe, but there will be no source material to compare it to. And there's only been a few pre-screening tweets that I've seen about it, but everybody is just raving about it. And the actors in it are great, And I guess the main two actors are also gay in it too, so that's a big step in the right direction for a major film like that that's geared for kids. So I'm glad that they're breaching that topic. I just hope it doesn't feel forced.
Sorry to go on to a different film. Do you guys know anything about Miss Peregrine?
No, and that was something that Vince was going to talk about because he saw it and he loved it. So
I haven't seen it yet, but it's my wife's birthday this weekend, so me and her are going to go see it because it's is it actually directed by Tim Burton? I don't know. I know he's at least a producer on it, and we're big Tim Burton fans. So, but that looks cool.
No, and I can say Vince is very judgmental about movies. He'll tell you when a movie sucks a giant nut, and he loved it. He really did love it. So, unfortunately, I have this massive list of films to see. Last but not least, Rogue One, which, holy fuck, the trailer that played before Doctor Strange was out of control. I am dying to see that.
Someone just asked you about that on the stream.
Yeah, I lost my chat on the stream, so I can't even see it anymore. I don't know why.
As you brought that up, someone just said, "Mike, are you going to watch Rogue One?"
Please! Yesterday I was Googling when tickets go on sale. It's not even announced yet, so I'm kind of like dying for tickets to go on sale. Yeah, that's me. Me and the wife are Star Wars nerds. We really are, and anything to give me more Star Wars universe, especially things that are non-Jedi related, is very interesting to me.
I was actually looking earlier today for pre-orders for seeing. I was surprised that it's not up. But
yeah, last year I think they went on sale about a month before. So hopefully within a week or two they'll be on sale, and I will have 7 p.m. showing tickets for the first screening on Thursday the night before. So I'll be there, and usually when these things come out, I buy tickets for that and the first showing the next morning too, because the first show, to get a little personally, I have a pissing problem, and I can't usually make it through films without taking a couple of pisses. And so, like when the last Star Wars movie came out last year, I didn't drink any liquid after noon, so that I didn't have to pee the whole movie, and I didn't. Then I saw it the next morning, and I peed 3 times during the movie. So I'm the kind of guy that needs to see something twice, which is why I'm going to go back to see Doctor Strange, take my wife. Hopefully she doesn't throw up. And Rogue One, Harry Potter, Arrival, Passengers, and there's one other movie that came out that's supposedly amazing. It's called Hacksaw Ridge. I believe it is a World War II film that takes place in the Pacific Theater. So
I think I know about that film. I can't remember.
Yeah, that's one everybody should definitely see. But that's too many movies for me to see. I'm going to be on the road next week, and I don't think I'm going to be able to see any of them. So, if anybody gets a chance to see these, let us know. Let us know how you feel about them. And that's pretty much all we got to talk about. I mean, other than, we're going to do some more of these. We are definitely going to get Rick Hunter on one of these soon. Even though we are deviating from our normal Postal development, he's still a classic piece of our lore. And there might even be a place for his voice in the new game. Who knows? He's got a sexy voice.
I'm sure we'll work him in somewhere.
Yeah, and then we've got... other dude, Corey Cruz, he's down for a podcast, and he's a really fun guy, and he'll have a really good time with us. So, that said, thanks, guys, for having a good show. I think we had fun, and hope everybody enjoyed it.
Cool.
Yeah. Thanks very much, guys.
Deuces, motherfuckers.
Take it easy.
Bye-bye.
And only the same song that takes